Thank you so much for staying with us. We really appreciate your company since we began the show until now. It is Wednesday, and we focus on issues lifestyle. Now, under lifestyle, there's always that aspect of also looking at hobbies and how we spend our pastime, our free time. And today we want to talk about reading. Yes, we want to talk about reading, and I'll pick from where my colleague Martin Mwanje left when he said that there are people, and it's a very common phrase, that say that if you want to hide something from an African, then you get to hide it where? In a book, right here. So if you want any information not to get to as many people as possible, hide it in a book. So where is the problem? Could it be that we don't read, we don't create time to read and dig deep into the details about issues that concern us? That is what we want to talk about today. Enhancing the culture of reading in today's society. What is the problem? Why are people not reading? And probably what are some of the strategies that can work for us to be readers and to love reading? And what are the impacts of technology in this particular culture of reading? These are issues that we will be talking about in this particular program. And before the end of it as well, I will be hosting an author who has written such an amazing book, and he will be telling us more about dealing with disappointments when you want to live your dream, something that he's very passionate about. And I know right now it's just 1 month and finally January is over, and I know you made all those new beautiful resolutions, but then 1 month down the line, some of us have already started crawling, and we like said, yeah, we wanted to do this, but maybe next year, maybe I'll try next year. A lot of excuses we've started creating so far. So we will be talking about dealing with all those issues so that you stay on the right track when it comes to, you know, living your dream and achieving your goals. But that's also what has been written. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for coming to the studios this morning. And Good Morning Kenya takes a break, and like I told you, I'll be having an author in studio. Today it's all about writing and reading. So we want to talk about something that he's very passionate about, that is helping people to live their dreams. So I know that is something that you want to do wherever you are. So how is what we will be talking about right after this particular break. Thank you so much for staying with us, and we continue with the program. Today it's all about reading and writing, and now I'm having an author in studio that is going to help us understand something that he's very passionate about, and a motivational speaker as well. Both of them actually are motivational speakers. They work at Living Your Dream Enterprises Ltd. And they're here with me this morning to help us understand how we can be able to deal with disappointments in our journey to living our dream. I know it's just the first month and we are still psyched up about achieving certain goals this year, but then there are certain things that we never plan or see or foresee. You know, misfortunes come along the way, discouragements will come along the way, and you can simply shift your focus from what you wanted to do and say, oh, it can wait, maybe I'll try next time. So how do we deal with those issues when we want to achieve our dream? That is what we want to talk about today, and I'll introduce my guests for the show this morning. First of all, I'll start from my far left. That is Robert Maina.
Yeah.
He's a motivational speaker. Thank you so much for coming to the studios.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we have Otieno Paul-Peter, the author of Living Your Dreams in 7 Ds. And today we'll be talking about the 4th D, that is disappointment. And thank you so much for coming to the studios. He's also a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So earlier we were having a conversation about inculcating the culture of reading.
Yeah.
Very quickly, your opinions about this. Do you think that our country is a reading society?
It's really not. Thank you for inviting me again, Safin. It's really not our country, but I think it's human nature. Well, they say Africans basically don't read, and there could be some truth in it, because many people, when I meet people, I ask them, do you read? And the question I normally like asking following that is, what's the difference between you who knows how to read and you don't read, and somebody who doesn't know how to read?
And wants to read.
Yeah, and no, somebody who doesn't know how to read has no choice.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
Okay.
But somebody knows how to read,
But they just
doesn't
choose
read.
not to read.
You see?
Wow.
So it's a big nightmare. And I think, you know, in life, people need a motivation to do something.
Okay.
The question is, if people understood what is in it for them, you see, and perhaps in our discussion, we are going to find out some of the reasons that would make someone read.
All right.
Yeah.
So because of time, we'll get straight into the issue that we want to talk about. Robert, we are just a society, and every new year we sit down and we strategize what we want to achieve. Not just new year. In the course of your life, there is that one thing you want to achieve as a person. There's that career goal. There's that probably a plan that you have for yourself that you want to achieve. But along the way, there are so many people who just give up and let go and create so many excuses. From where you sit as a motivational speaker, I know you train people on living their dream. Tell me about what you think would slow down people from, you know, getting to their dream. What are some of the things and excuses that people create?
Okay, thank you very much. Anytime, whenever you set your goals to achieve something, most of the people don't get to where they are supposed to. They don't get what they want. Mostly it's because they are not patient enough and they don't do what it takes to get where they want to be. Most of the people, whenever they don't get what they want to do, they get depressed, and later on, they really suffer a lot and quit their journey. I want to give you an example with me. When I was growing up, I really wanted to be a pilot, but life was a bit difficult for my parents. They could not afford to help me out achieve that. So I got into the military, thinking that I will achieve my dream. But after getting there, I didn't get what I wanted to do. So immediately I started looking for something else which could make me achieve my dreams. And that's how I got into business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just like the story of every other person, there is something you want, but then because of 1, 2, 3 things, you don't get to do that thing that you want. Otieno, you've written a book about people living their dream and what can make them live their dream. How are you living your dream?
I thank God I'm living my dream, I would say.
What was that dream?
Because, you see, when I was growing up, I went through several challenges, and the major part of the challenge entailed education. For whichever reason, I wasn't able to go to secondary schools as I'd planned, as I'd thought. And I saw many of my friends also quit in class 8 because there is no future for them. And another friend repeated class 8 3 times. Those 3 times, he was always the top student, the top pupil in the class, leading in KCPE, but didn't go to secondary school. And I think out of that generation, perhaps I'm the only one who's managed to reach up to the university. Okay. And it was a long struggle. And my thinking as at that time was, Kenya is losing a lot of brilliant brains due to fees problem. And I saw the concept was, you must go to school and then you will have life. If you don't go to school,
it was the
no
only
life.
Key to success.
Yes, it was actually, that was the key word. It's the education is the key. I used to listen to Lucky Dube saying that. I held it very well. Yeah. And I was determined to read and to study. But then I thought, like, how about these people who are not so fortunate enough to reach their dreams in terms of academics? And I realized it's not all academics. There is a lot of life beyond academics. Right now, if we look for somebody which is the PhD in finance, he's probably not the richest person in Kenya, but he has a PhD in finance. If we look for somebody with a PhD in leadership, he's probably not the best leader. We look for somebody who has PhD in political science, he's perhaps not the best politician, you see. So we realize that academics somewhat is overrated. Over and above that, there is something else that we can do in order to live our dreams. And now that's where we come in. And actually, that was the main purpose of the book. Live your dream in 7 Ds.
In 7 days.
The Ds are the steps that you meet on the way, and disappointment comes the 4th. Just
Probably
near
you can take us
the dream.
through the 7 Ds. Just mention them.
Yeah, mentioning is you must have a dream in the first place.
You dream
this
first,
dream,
and
yes.
dreams
You
are
must
valid.
have, yes, valid, whatever. We can discuss deeply into that, but it's a big topic on its
All
own.
right.
All these things are big topics. Then you've got to have determination. That I say determination backed by burning desire. And then you will need to go through some discipline.
Okay.
And then you reach disappointment.
Okay.
And that's normally the moment.
That is
and
where
it's
many people stop.
It's perhaps my favorite subject,
Okay.
because many people hate troubles. Many people hate disappointments.
Okay.
And that is where people stop. You'll pick a good business idea, you go to your spouse, you expect all the support, and he's the first to
they
say,
shut you out.
that can't work.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that as
Yes.
well. But then after
And
disappointment,
then after disappointment, there is a detour. Okay, there is detox first. Detox basically is something you've got to do. You've got to detox yourself.
okay.
Yes,
After
getting rid
all
of the
those
toxins and whatever.
disappointments,
Yes,
you have to do
you've got to you do some detox, and then you've got to, you will always meet some detour. A detour, it's sort of a deviation, and many people feel comfortable at a deviation.
Okay.
You see, I was going to, let's say I wanted to be a doctor, but then I reached some level and I've started earning some little money
You
from
say, "Ah, but
locum
I'm
and things
okay,
like that, and
okay."
say, well, I think it's
As
a
long
good,
as I can
good
pay
enough.
my bills,
yeah.
that's okay.
So
Okay.
people get some detours, and that
They
steals
distract
the
you
dream.
from the main
Yes,
goal.
and then we reach our dream, and then
Okay.
we say, you dream again.
dream
You
again.
don't stop there.
Okay,
You go.
wow. So it's a cycle that
Yes,
continues.
it's a cycle, and that's the
Living
way
your
people
dream in
grow.
7 days.
And that's
So
why I
today
say
we're talking
living your
about
dreams.
The 4th D.
Yes.
That is disappointment.
Yes.
From your understanding, Robert,
Yeah.
when you hear the word disappointment, what comes into your mind?
What comes into my mind are the challenges people go through. And those challenges should make someone become better and prepare you for the next step of life. And you can't avoid the challenges. They have to be there for the life to be exciting for you. And I love the challenges because those are the food for the champions. Anyone who has achieved anything in life, he has gone through some challenges. And they make you a better person and a stronger person. And I learned something from the training I went through in the military. Every day we were facing new challenges each and every day. And every challenge was preparing us for the next step. And that is what many people avoid and run away from, of which you can't run away from them.
From challenges.
So they really help somebody become a stronger person in life.
So in your journey to living your dream,
Yeah.
you're going to experience that moment where something can really make you stop. That is disappointments. Yeah?
Crushing disappointment.
Talk to us about
Let me tell
that
you.
stage,
Let me tell
because
you,
that is where many people stop.
if you're going to achieve something worth achieving, you must be sure there is going to be an obstruction. For whichever reason, I don't know, but I normally say, seems the universe conspires to test you before it can trust you.
Okay.
You've got to pass a test before you get the reward. I remember, and I wrote it last week, the D moments. I was writing about this topic. And I remember one of my mentors said, when I wanted to make a particular significant step in a business, he said, you see, now that you've set a big goal, you must be prepared for big challenges, because the devil is not happy with your success.
Okay. The bigger the goal,
Yes,
the bigger the challenges.
Yes, because
Okay.
how you see people who achieve more, the only thing that they don't show us is the big trouble they had to get to overcome.
Okay. So
But
every
most of us-
successful
yes.
person, they have a story.
Yes,
They have that moment.
all of them without exception.
Okay.
The only issue is the generation of today, most of us are brought up into the end justifies the means. And we always want to reach the end faster, and we do not want to see what we have
The
to
process.
go through, the process. And somebody once said that it takes 20 years to achieve an overnight success. Get that?
Okay.
Takes 20 years.
Good years.
Take Rudisha, for example. Do you think he woke up and won Olympic?
No.
Yes.
There was a process and effort and
He had
sacrifice.
to work and practice for so many years.
Yeah.
And try many times. And if you are in Kenya, you will start with some level marathon, some start marathon, whatever, and finally you reach somewhere. So we may see the 11 seconds, whatever it takes in the field, and people start calculating how many millions per second. No, this guy has been working on himself for many years. So that disappointing part, if we don't, if we are not ready for it, we better stop dreaming. Yeah.
Okay. Probably, Robert,
Yes.
where do people go wrong in that moment of disappointment? If you are to, you know, dig deeper, where do you think people go wrong? Because you say disappointments will always come.
Yeah.
But then what is the biggest mistake we make at that stage of our journey to living our dream?
Most people, when they go through disappointments and challenges, they don't take time to think about what they are going through. Or they don't look for a mentor who can help them achieve what they want. And most people fail because they have not trained enough, especially in the field they are in. It may be business, it may be in any field. If you don't go through the required training, automatically you'll face the challenges. So it's always good to make sure that you train as hard as possible. If you're a salesperson, train more about customer care.
Okay.
If you are doing any training, even if it's for any profession, if you don't go through the right trainings, of course you'll meet the challenges. And if you don't, many people don't take time to think about what they are going through. And it's always advisable, whenever you get a challenge, take some time and think about it. Troubleshoot, know where it's coming from, and then work out from there. Yeah.
It's easier said.
No, it's not easier said
than done.
Adding on
because
that,
at that point, you have a lot of pressure, left, right, and center.
No,
maybe you have invested so much money in a business and things are just crumbling and falling apart. You need like an emergency solution.
That's what will determine whether you are a true business person or you are just a wannabe.
Yeah.
You see, that's the point that separates seriousness from just people who are trying. Remember, when people start going around the field in a marathon, not everyone will finish. The question is, are you the one who will finish? You see?
Yeah.
And in the field of business or in real life, we are really not in a race with other people. We're on our own track. We are moving on. Are we going to reach our race? You see, we normally tell this to people with Robert. If you train enough, every challenge you meet, it means there is still something you're yet to learn.
Okay.
You see, if you're driving and you haven't learned enough about driving, you probably will meet more problems on the road.
So the more you learn, the less the challenges
you've got
become.
to be ready to learn,
Okay.
and part of learning is through that experience.
Okay.
Now you know how to do it better. You see,
Experience is the best teacher.
They say so. Experience is the best teacher, but sometimes experience, while it could be the best teacher, not everyone learns from experience. The other thing is, while experience will teach you if you are teachable, you see, it could be that what happens with experience is that it will punish you first, and then it is you to dig into the knowledge. But you see, ordinary teachers like me and Robert, we will teach you ahead.
Okay.
So that
Before
when you
get
meet
to
it, and even by me telling you
right.
that you're going to meet trouble, be ready for it. That is good enough, by the
You're
way.
becoming so realistic in the sense that you're telling people, if you're going for something, know that it's not going to be easy. That you're going to meet a lot of challenges. And at some point, you can be tempted to create excuses and stop.
Great. Robert will tell you that when they joined the military, they were told that 10% of you will die. You see, somebody tells you prior.
So you're prepared and you know this is going to happen.
Yes. When we joined the university, some people who were doing another course, they were told that only 25% of you will graduate. You see, that's good enough. You better know
but
it.
are you going to be among the 25?
Are you going to be among them?
That's what you need to work on.
Yeah.
Okay. Robert,
I want to add
as
something.
you add that, what do you tell people who fear? Before even the disappointment, they don't want to take a step because of the fear of that disappointment. There are people who've already created in their mind that, okay, I want to start a business, but anyway, probably I may suffer a loss, something may happen, so let me just not risk. Let me just not do anything. What do you tell those kind of people who fear even before they get on the road? As you add whatever point you wanted to add.
Yeah, fear is one of the greatest obstacles to achieving something in life. So it's always good to try something instead of judging that I'll fail in it. So, and that is what most of the people do. They fear taking action because they fear what people talk about them, they fear failure and all that. So it's always good to overcome the fear by trying whatever you are fearing. If it's in business, get into business and learn as you move on. And then another issue I wanted to add on is if you're in the wrong terrain, you'll automatically fail. So it's always good to identify the right terrain.
The right dream.
Yeah, the right dream and also the terrain. Because I want to give you an example.
That's not yours.
I want to give you an example.
You're running a race that's not yours.
Yeah.
Give me the example.
Of a shark and a lion. When the lion gets into water, the shark will win the lion. When the shark is on the land, the lion will win the shark. So the terrain matters a lot. So identify the right terrain and move on with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so our time is almost running out. But then, Paul, in your book you say employers will disappoint you, friends will disappoint you, very many sources of disappointment. Yeah. What do you tell, that person concerning what they need to be watchful and mindful about in this stage of disappointment? What is it that you want them to understand?
The question is not to avoid disappointment. The question is not to avoid trouble. The question is to know that it will come and you've got to be prepared for it. And the moment you're prepared for it, you're at least you've done a step into overcoming it because you knew it. If you knew you can miss a train, you probably can have other alternatives. The other thing is, don't hold people into your heart. For some reason, it brings in wrong feelings into you.
Like I counted on this person.
And these
really
wrong feelings cannot allow you to succeed. They will be like holding you back.
Okay.
You must be positive generally in your whole body in order to achieve your dream. So you must learn to forget about, or not necessarily to forget, but to forgive, or rather to leave them aside and just count them as part of the obstacles. And I normally give this example, if you are doing sales and you're selling handkerchiefs, maybe along the streets, how many people do you count? Do you count the people who bought or the people who passed?
Like in the story you brought out about the KFC founder.
Yes.
Over 1,000 no's and then finally a yes.
Why? Okay. Because he was clear about what he wanted. And he knew by the end of the day, he will be able to get the right thing because the dream is clear. Okay. So get to know that you meet one no, you know that by the end of it, you will finally get a yes. You see, even if you are chancing, there is just so much you can try. Thomas Edison did it 10,000 times, but he was positive. So you will learn first of all from your experience and take it as a positive step. Now you will not repeat that same mistake. Learn to let these people go and learn that every problem that comes your way comes for the good. There is something good in it. Focus on that good, mind that gold, move on.
All right, wow. These are the kind of conversations I really would wish that we just talk about the whole day, because that is what is affecting many people. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of the time that we had for today. Yeah. We really need to learn more about the other Ds. So probably in the near future, we can continue with this conversation. But today it was all about disappointments and dealing with disappointments along the way. As your final remarks, what do you want to leave my viewer with this morning? Let me start with you, Robert.
So what I would like to say is anytime whenever you face challenges, try and fly higher. Because if you fly too low, challenges will overcome you. And then also learn to handle challenges in a creative way, because they come in different ways, in different magnitudes. So there's no specific way of handling challenges, but be creative whenever you get the challenges. Yeah.
Okay. Otieno Paul?
Great. One is get to know that challenges will come, problems will come. The bigger the dream, the bigger the problem you've got to surmount. Two, whenever you meet them, first ask yourself, what didn't you know that you now know? Two, ask yourself if you are experiencing a problem and you feel like you need some solution. One is, what can I do? Ask yourself, what can I do as an individual? Is there something I can read? That's where reading comes in. Is there something I'm yet to read?
Okay.
Because you meet problems partly because you did not know something.
Wow.
Then the other thing is, whom can I ask?
Whom can
I work with?
Okay.
There are many people, the majority of the people who surround you may not qualify to be there.
Show me
And
your
so
friends.
you may not necessarily ask your spouse. You know, many of us go to the people we trust most.
Thank you.
I have a medical problem. I'm going to my uncle who is a witch doctor or who is a farmer. Yeah, just because he's older and I trust him. No, ask
to
the,
the
right
right
person
people. Wow.
and learn the right question to ask.
Okay.
Finally, just get to know problems will come.
They will
The
come.
determinant is, will you overcome them or will you stop at that point and sing in the glory of losing?
Okay. Wow. Thank you for that dose. A small dose, but it's something to kickstart your week. It's something to kickstart your year. It's something to kickstart your next month as you aspire to achieve that goal that you have. What I will say, I'll borrow from this book. They say that there is always time to quit. Anytime you want to quit, say there is always time to quit. When you get to that time you want to quit, tell yourself you can quit next time. When you get to that time, say you can quit next time.
And
you will never quit like
and
that.
it's on Amazon. by the
Yes,
way, you better
yes,
mention.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the show. And that is where we bring the program to a close for today. We come tomorrow bright and early for Entertainment Thursday. Samuel Njoroge, Martin Mwanje, and I and the entire production crew that are making this program a success every morning. We really appreciate, and we also appreciate you, our viewer, for watching. So let's meet tomorrow bright and early. Good Morning Kenya has come to the end, but keep watching KBC Channel One. There is more that we have for you.